Starting Your Own Caregiver Service Business, Part 3. In Part 2 of this video training series, we talked about how much you should charge for your services. We hope by now that you have some idea of the amount that you are looking to charge. If not, no worries. You can always work on that before you actually start providing your caregiver services. This brings us to Action Step 5. Decide what services you will offer. One of the great things about owning your own business is having the power to dictate a lot of things that you could not do if you were working for someone else. When you work for someone else, you rarely have control over things like scheduling or what services you are providing to your clients. When you're in business for yourself, you decide what services you will provide and to whom you will provide them to. For instance, you may decide that a client is at a higher level of care than you would feel comfortable or confident working with and caring for, so you might opt not to take on this type of client. Here, it is important not to be afraid to let families know that you would not feel comfortable providing services for their loved one. Having said this, when caregivers are just starting out and trying to build their business, sometimes they take on a client whose level of care is just a little bit beyond their skill and knowledge level. The point here is, like a lot of things in life, there are exceptions to nearly every rule. That is, what one caregiver decides to do for a client, another might not. And what one family is okay with, another family might not be. This will ultimately be a decision between you, your client, and their family about what all of you are comfortable with. As long as you, the client, and the family are okay with whatever agreement you decide on, then you may initially consider taking on the challenge, so long as you can properly carry out your duties and adequately fulfill the needs of your client. Always remember, however, one thing that you do not want to do is put the client in a position where they will not receive the very best care that they deserve. In the same way, you do not want to jeopardize your reputation as a business owner and caregiver by failing to meet the needs of your clients. Word spreads fast in the caregiver industry, and if you do not do things right, you might find yourself stalling before you even get started with your business. So, think carefully and thoroughly about what kind of clients you're willing to take on and what services you can competently provide for them. If you ever find yourself in a situation where you or your client's well-being or safety might come into jeopardy, immediately notify the client's family or responsible individual. Now, whatever services that you decide to offer as a non-medical caregiver, be sure to have these listed in your portfolio, a topic that we will discuss in a later video. Here is a short list of some of the typical services that you will be providing as the owner of a caregiver service business. Assisting with activities of daily living, ADLs, including but not limited to the following: bathing, dressing, combing hair, brushing teeth, showering, cooking, general cleaning, doing laundry, running errands, assisting with doctor's visits, assisting with recreational activities, and other duties as agreed to between you, your client, and/or their family. Ultimately, the specific services you provide are up to you, your clients, and their individual needs and level of care, as well as their family members or responsible representative. This said, any care arrangements between you and the client should be discussed thoroughly prior to providing any service or exchange of monies. The actual service agreement between you and your client should outline the specific services that you will be providing and for what cost, along with details about whom to call in the event of an emergency, if the client has a DNR or do not resuscitate order, and so on. The agreement should also be signed by you, your client, and/or the representative, along with a witness. You can search the internet for sample service agreements, but you can also create one yourself. Now, if you have not done so already, please do review parts 1 and 2 of this video training series and move forward with your action steps. This video emphasized taking action on deciding what services you will offer. Stay tuned for part 4 of this training series on starting your own caregiver service business as we dive into action steps 6 and 7, which will cover buying a domain name and building a website for your business.